Pumping the brakes on divorce or go ahead and finalize this separation? I don't know what to do. Context. Both roughly 40 years old, 2 kids elementary age, house in the suburbs, typical suburban family. About 6 months ago, my wife came to me and said, I want a divorce. No chance of reconciliation, no doubt in her mind. But peaceful, and I'll be fair, it was peaceful, it was respectful. There was no infidelity, there wasn't even much tension or drama to it. To be blunt, I think we've both been unhappy a long time. Long list of, you don't do this, countered by, well, you don't do that. We both contributed to the problems. It just wasn't working. So she came up with a plan and I agreed to it. Told our friends and family what's happening, including our kids. Totally embarrassing and humiliating to go through that. Sold the old house and moved to an apartment while she bought a more modest home she could afford. We settled on a parenting/custody arrangement and child support ad money. No lawyers, all mediated, all relatively peaceful. I have the kids about a third of the time, mostly weekends, because I work full-time in an office while she works part-time from home and has unlimited flexibility. All of this has pretty much nuked my life. I feel shame around everyone I know, like it's a reflection on me and what I didn't do right. I sold a house I loved, in a neighborhood I loved, with neighbors I loved and hung out with all the time. I radically downsized my life in a moving process, trashed tons of old memorabilia and collectibles, some of which I regret. But knowing I would move to an apartment, I didn't feel like I could or should take much with me. I was sad to let go of so much along the way. But I've built a new, clean, simple lifestyle and I really like where I am now. The changes to her life? Not so great. Single mom and she's got custody 2/3 of the time because of her job situation. I pay fairly healthy child support payments because I was the breadwinner, but it still sets her up for tight finances. She's frustrated with how much work the kids are. I think she forgets that I did all the cooking. She barely knows how. A lot of the housework, and was the main financial provider. She has very little free time now. And her place is a mess, still living out of boxes and suitcases. She's also very angry that I've moved on cleanly and simply and resettled so quickly. And now she wants to work on things, see if we can reconcile. We have the draft of the final separation agreement. We just haven't signed it yet. The state we live in requires one of those live apart and wait 12 months things before a divorce can be final. On the one hand, that's my wife, the mother of my children. Of course I still love her, but I also acknowledge the old problems haven't been addressed at all. I see no evidence things have changed, only an acknowledgement that she wants to. But how does that even work when I'm living apart and we spend no time together? But in fairness, she didn't cross any boundaries like cheating or spending a ton of stupid money. She didn't trash me behind my back. All that to say, no red lines were crossed for me. On the other hand, a life I enjoyed has been nuked. I've moved away from a place I loved and let go of things I didn't want to. Shouldn't have had to. She created this mess entirely because she skipped over the part where you can get marriage counseling and moved straight on to giving up on us. She had some trauma during COVID and how that impacted her life, but our marriage was outside of that. I think she projected a lot of non-related problems in her life into the marriage. She is asked to go to counseling and kinda started to get into some of the things we could work on. But she seems to gloss over the parts where she's nuked a life I enjoyed. Acts like I can just move into her new place and it's no big deal. But let's definitely focus on how we both got us into this mess. I just have a hard time accepting that premise. We both made our marriage less than ideal, but only one of us totally ruined our situation. We were just about to sign the final separation paperwork. I'm not sure if I still should. Feels like I'm slamming a door in her face when I'm open to counseling. Yet at the same time, if we can't work things out, it feels like we're at the clock and everything by not signing. And my confidence is low because I still don't think she's accepting how much she's escalated the situation by handling this so poorly. Sorry for length. Appreciate the sanity check. I appreciate perspectives that challenge me to think about things differently, so far away. My wife locked me out of the house on our anniversary night because she didn't like the gift I brought for her. 4 days ago was mine, male 30, and my wife's, female 27, third wedding anniversary. She loves jewelry, and every year I'd bring her jewelry. But this year I've been dealing with debts and spent all my money to fix my car that was broken for 4 months. I didn't buy her jewelry this year, but I did buy her something that I thought she'd find nice, which is a vase that cost me about $65. We were having a small celebration on dinner. I got home in the evening and found her setting up dinner table with candles and flowers. She was dressed nicely, while I was just wearing my work clothes, which she found okay-ish. After dinner, she gave me a gift which was a $45 shoes. I handed her the gift I got her, and a smile quickly disappeared from her face. She asked why I didn't get her a piece of jewelry, and I said I didn't have enough money to buy a decent piece and this stuff is expensive. She got upset saying I always get her jewelry, but I explained money was tight and car needed fixing. She remained upset for a while, then went back to normal. Later, she asked if I could take the trash out, and I agreed. I placed a trash bag outside, then was headed back inside, but the door was locked. I kept moving the doorknob, but it was obviously locked, which got me hella confused. I didn't have a copy of the key on me, so I called my wife to let her know I was outside and the door was somehow locked. But she hung up, then showed up from the window and shouted that I should stay outside after I made her an afterthought, and prioritize my car over her and getting her a vase. I was stunned. I asked if she deliberately locked the door, and she said yes, to teach you a lesson. I told her to quit messing around and open the door, but she refused, saying that she made dinner, set up romantic atmosphere, dressed nicely for me, and made effort for our wedding anniversary. But I didn't do half of the things she's done and didn't get her the gift she wanted. So for that, I should spend a night somewhere else. I lashed out and called her petty to lock me out of my own house over a piece of jewelry. She told me that I should get a hotel room and go F myself, and I angrily responded that I'd gladly do so. But I ended up sleeping in the car since the garage was locked as well. The next day, she complained about how I wronged her, acted rudely by lashing out and wanted an apology. But I haven't apologized. Now she's cold-shouldering me. Am I making a mistake, or did I outgrow my husband? I, 33 female, met my 36 male husband when I was 20 and he was 23. Over the past years, I finished school, become reasonably successful in my career, and identified my goals. During the same time, he has been in retail management and slowly getting promoted within his company at a store level. He has goals for promotion, but hasn't been interested in anything more, either professionally or personally. He is kind and supportive, but he does not understand what I do, does not ask me about my day, finds it hard to have deeper conversations about our future, and isn't interested in seeking higher education because he doesn't know what to do, but hasn't attempted to research or explore his options. Over the past few years, I've found myself having to remind him of small things. Some things consistent with ADHD, others not, like basic household chores, following through with the things he offered to do, or helping our families with the things he promised. When I try to have conversations in our future or his goals, it's vague and I have to pull information from him. When we first met, his kindness and flexible demeanor were positive attributes, but now I feel like I have to be the one to guide our future without any input from my partner. The decision fatigue from work makes this overwhelming, and honestly, not what I need anymore. All of this has been getting to me, and I feel more like his mother than his spouse. We spoke about what I need, conversations, household support, and feeling like I have grown and evolved into a different version of myself that I really like. And he only stated that he thought I was happy and feels blindsided. I asked him to show me he is willing and capable of growth, but I'm already questioning his ability for sustained change. I don't know what to do, other than admit I haven't been happy the last few years and I want out. Am I being too harsh? Or am I just realizing that I've grown into a different person in the 13 years we've been together, while my husband has remained all but the same?
I think my sister-in-law's best friend is trying to get with my, 25 female, husband, 28 male, and she's encouraging it. Am I delusional? My sister-in-law, 23 female, is my husband's half-sister. She was the product of their mother's infidelity. My father-in-law refused to have anything to do with my sister-in-law, but continued to have a relationship with my husband.
Damn.
Because of this, my sister-in-law is very clingy to my husband. My husband is also very protective of his sister and generally doesn't tolerate anything negative being said about her. My husband and I bought a house last year, which has its own indoor swimming pool. My sister-in-law was super excited when she saw it and asked if she could use it sometimes with her friend. We said it was fine, as long as she gave us a notice before she turned up. Her and her friend Chloe have used it many times before, but almost never when my husband is home. With lockdown, my husband has started to work from home. My sister-in-law asked me if she and Chloe could come over and use the pool. I told her I was uncomfortable with them coming over as I'm pregnant and don't want to accidentally expose the baby to anything risky. My sister-in-law then asked if she and Chloe quarantined for 2 weeks, would they be able to come over? My husband said it was fine. 2 weeks later, they turn up to my house. My husband was in his office, so they go straight to the pool after making small talk. My husband ends up coming out after an hour, and we're hanging out in the kitchen. My sister-in-law walks in to get a drink, and she starts talking to my husband. Before she goes back to the pool, she says, "Chloe's going to be so happy to see you." It was weird because my husband and Chloe aren't close. Chloe comes into the kitchen 2 minutes later and spends the rest of her time talking to my husband until he excuses himself to get back to work. She's super giggly and smiley when she talks to him. He would say something sarcastic and she would laugh like it was the funniest joke she's ever heard. It honestly felt like she was flirting with him. Before she went back to the pool, she gave me this weird, smirky look. Before they leave, they ask my husband if he's working from home every day of the week. He confirms he is. The next 2 weeks, they come over to the house to swim every single day, except Chloe never gets in the water. Instead, she hangs around the house in her bikini. Whenever my husband comes out to hang around me, she quickly interrupts him and keeps him talking until he has to go back to work. I made lunch for us all, and when I excused myself to call my husband down, my sister-in-law quickly stopped me and said Chloe could call him for me. They shared a look, and Chloe looked really happy when she went to get him. Chloe also started to get touchier with my husband. She put her hands on his chest and arms, stands or sits really close to him. To my husband's credit, he does usually create space between them whenever she does something like this. The reason I believe my sister-in-law is in on this is because she's made a few pregnancy-related jabs at me recently. She told me a story about how one of her friends' boyfriends was cheating on her, and then something along the lines of, quote, "Did you know a lot of men start cheating when their wives are pregnant?" She's also made comments about how I look chubby now, and it looks weird next to my husband because he's well built. I know pregnancy hormones can mess with a person's brain, so I'm wondering if I'm just looking for something that isn't there. My sister-in-law sent me a text yesterday asking if they could come over to swim next week, and I really want to say no, but I know she'll whine to my husband if I do. I ideally want to have a conversation with him before then, but I'm not sure if I should mention the flirting. Am I being delusional?
Hi guys, thank you for watching. I love you guys so much. Please like and subscribe to see more great videos. See you again.